Good evening and welcome to Motivational Mondays. It's Luann B. again here to delight you with some inspirational information. I just returned from the Money and Life Freedom course. And actually, I'm recording this earlier in the day. I'm not going to be able to be on live with you this evening because some family things came up as soon as I returned. And so I'm sneaking in a recording this afternoon so I can post it for you this evening at our usual time. So again, welcome. And I just returned from this amazing course called Money and Life Freedom. It is hosted by Beth LaFavre and Tanya Villar and Jane Cabrera, and it is an amazing program. This was the second time that I attended the program, and I was also their support system. So I'd like to publicly thank these three beautiful women for bringing the message to the world and for allowing me to be a part of their support team and helping others to break through their money blockages. But speaking of that, the course name is Money and Life Freedom. And I think that people come specifically around breaking up money blockages. But really what we find is that they're life blockages. They're blockages in our memories, in our lineage, in what we've experienced in our life that we need to break through in order to break through any barriers or false beliefs we have with our money beliefs. And we all carry those. Things like we were told money doesn't grow on trees, and parents saying, I don't have enough money, you can't have that, and many others, that got to work hard to make money, that we carry around, that we heard over and over again as children, and now they just play in our memory banks. And so a lot of the work that we did is getting deep into those with our participants and identifying what are the messages running around in their head. And we've talked about this many a times on our Monday calls, that the voices in our head, the messages that we're hearing, even subconsciously, are what are driving our decisions and potentially holding us back from achieving our passions and monetizing those passions and living our dreams. And so it's a really important course to be a part of and break up those blockages so that you can get what you want in life. So everything I talk about, plays one into the other, and are little steps to take in your life along the way to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. And so I highly, highly recommend that you put the Money and Life Freedom course on your list of things to do, on your bucket list, on your to-do list, what have you, whatever you call it. And the course will only be held twice a year. And I'll keep you posted on when the next one is scheduled and what location it will be at. So, but this one was in Minnesota, so I was close by, and it was fabulous. So I want to share with you tonight some of the key things that I took away from the program that I want to share with you. And so number one is, it's here. It's up in our brain. It's blockages in our thought process that are operating below the waterline. When I say below the waterline, have any of you heard the analogy, right? It's only the tip of the iceberg, right? It's only the tip of the iceberg. And what does that mean about icebergs? Icebergs, the only piece that we see is a small portion of it above the waterline, right? And below the waterline is the majority of what's going on with that iceberg. It is what created it. It is what made it an iceberg, right? And I talk about this when I talk about culture, that you look at an individual and their physical appearance and what you might immediately decide what culture they were raised in or where they came from based on their physical look, right? But the reality is that the depth of who that person is lies below the waterline. They may look white Caucasian and have been born in Japan, they might look Japanese and have been born in America. And so just looking at an individual, you're unable to truly identify the culture, the cultural background that they came from and who they are, frankly. We're all individuals, so putting people in boxes based on their heritage, based on the region, the country, the part of the country, the part of the world they came from is just plain wrong, in my opinion. You can't put people in boxes like that. You need to get to know the individual. We're all unique individuals. Well, in the Money Life Freedom course, it talks about that iceberg from the perspective that there's subconsciously all kinds of things going on in our world, that being our individual world, not the big world out here, but what's going on in here and in this person, right? A huge portion of that is subconscious. It's subconscious. And we don't even know what's happening. That's the definition of subconscious, right? We don't even know what's happening. And that only 17%, write that down, only 17% of our brain work is conscious. I think that's how they put it. But only 17% of what we are doing is consciously. The rest of it is operating subconsciously. That's 83% of what we do happens subconsciously. Think about it. So, for example, breathing, right? Breathing happens subconsciously. It's an automatic system that's running for us, and thank goodness, or we wouldn't be here alive today. If we had to remember to breathe, that would take a lot of our time, right? A lot of our work. And so, and it is happening, and it is taking a lot of work, right? 83% of what's happening in our body, 83% of our actions that we take are subconscious. Isn't that interesting? Think about it. So we're more reactive individuals based on our experiences, how we were raised, what we absorbed, what we heard from other people, and those things are all stored in our subconscious. And we're reacting in our day-to-day lives from that information, just like a computer. From that information, we're operating and we don't even know it half the time, right? And so what the course is talking about is first acknowledging that, and then getting at those things that are stored in the memory banks, stored in the subconscious, that actually are controlling our ability to attract money, attract success, attract what we want in our life, because they're frankly undermining it. They're undermining it because they're false beliefs. You know, in the passion test work, we talk about false beliefs, right? And false concepts, false ideas. These are things that we've stored based on things that we've been told, heard as a child, experienced as a child, when we were just formulating, right? When we were raw spirits, right? Open to learning, and absorbing. And some of these messages got convoluted and mixed up, right? And it's like, you know, my dad telling me not to be a teacher. God love him. God bless him. He's no longer with us. And he was doing that out of the goodness of his own heart because he found it challenging to raise a large family on a teacher's salary. But I am a teacher in a different way. But he sent me on a different path. And those kinds of things, those messages, it was a long time before I even remembered he said that to me, right? We're trying to dive in this course, find those messages that we're carrying around subconsciously that are blocking us, false beliefs, false concepts, false ideas, that are blocking us, stored in our memory banks, from getting what we want. So you got to dive deep, right? And so, you know, like with my work with the passion tests, and we are looking for people who want to dive deep, who want to dive deep and change their life. And, you know, by the very virtue that you've clicked on a Motivational Monday call and want to know what that's about and how to change your life, be more inspired each day, each week about achieving your goals, I would say that these are things you're interested in. And you should invest in yourself and take the time to experience these things. So, number one, right? Number one key, a lot of information is being stored, has been stored in your body, right? In your memory banks, in your subconscious, that is affecting your ability to be successful in the way that you want. And so if you want to change the outcomes that you're currently receiving, we need to dive deep into those. And key number two is that only 17% of our functionality is conscious. That's a better way to say it. Only 17% of our functionality is conscious. 83% is coming from that subconscious space and controlling our results. So again, in order to dive deep into that, we need to find those subconscious messages and bring them to the surface. So they're fascinating statistic that they bring forward in the Money and Life Freedom course, and all credit goes to them for bringing this information forward. I'm just passing it on. Is that information from our subconscious is spinning at 400 billion bits per second. Like, we're hearing that subconsciously, hearing this information. It's running through our system at 400 billion bits per second. So we don't even know it's there, right? Again, we don't know it's there. We can't keep up with it. Our mind can't think that fast, right? But when we identify it and we bring that information to our conscious mind, we slow everything down and we take it out of control and allow us to look at it and deal with it. Now, when that subconscious is operating and might trigger us in some way, in some situation, hopefully we can catch it and go, whoa, wait a minute, that's not true. That's a false belief that I've been carrying around for years, And then we can stop it and turn it around, reframe it, as it were. And I've talked for years about reframing our language to get rid of the naughty words. Probably need to do a session on that again real soon for new people who visit my site. It's been a while since I've talked about that. But it's about eliminating the negative words from your language, not and the hit list sixth. Just think about the word not and the negativity of that, right? And so anything with a not in it, can't, won't, couldn't, wouldn't, shouldn't, is a piece of that. And we need to eliminate those from our language because they turn our message into the opposite, okay? And so I encourage people to reframe and eliminate those words from their language. And that's what we're talking about doing here too. Those negative feedback that's coming from our subconscious need to be caught, recognized, acknowledged, even given recognition. Oh my gosh, I think this way. I've been thinking this way for a long time, and that's just no longer serving me. Thanks, I appreciate that. No longer serving me. I'm going to reframe that and turn it around into something else, okay? So there's several breakthroughs that I personally had in this session over the weekend that I really would love to share with you. And again, it's not all about money, but in the end, it affects my ability to achieve the success I want, which ultimately leads to money. We give money a lot of power, and it's really just a tool. Another key, that's a bonus for today. Money's just a tool. It's just a tool. And we print it on paper. It's just paper. And we give this piece of paper all kinds of power over us. And really the power is here. I talked about this before. Get to know this person in here. Stand in that integrity of who you are. So I am a divine, dynamic, spiritual teacher. And I'm going to be saying that to the world to shift my universal spirit, my soul, into believing that, into making that my subconscious message. Not that I'm little Luann Beekler, that I am a divine woman delivering spiritual messages to the world and helping to heal the world. So we talk in I ams. Another bonus. Wow, you're getting a lot of information tonight. We're talking I ams, and I've shared that before. I am statements, right? So my I am statements and divine declaration is as follows. I am grateful that I have money and I multiply it easily. I desire to live full out as a dynamic, divine, spiritual teacher, bringing joy to all the people I serve. I want to say that again. I was saying it's important, and I'm reprogramming my brain, which, by the way, based on neuroplasticity, I have trouble with that word, science, that we can reprogram our brain. Isn't that awesome? We can. And so if you want to change your life, let's start reprogramming your brain. So here again is my I am statement and my declaration for the rest of my life and where I'm going in this world. I am grateful that I have money and I multiply it easily. I declare that I desire to live full out as a divine, dynamic, spiritual teacher, bringing joy and peace to all the people that I serve. Oh, that feels so good. That feels so good. Gosh, I'd love to help you come up with statements like that for yourself. And Tanya and Beth and Jane are out there to help you do it as well. You can connect with any of us online. You can connect with the Money and Life Freedom website and luannb.com website and start to shift your world to the positivity, the divine individual that you are, and create the success and wealth that you want to have in your life. Because what I want is to help people find peace and joy and live with a big smile on their face like this. And I hope that one day I can help you do that. So I appreciate you allowing me to record this today so I can be with my family this evening on this occasion that has come up since I just returned from a trip. And I hope you enjoyed this evening's Motivational Monday message. Remember to join me every Monday at 6:30 p.m. to get your boost of inspiration for the week so you can love your life the way I love my life, and we can have a great time together. And remember, they're free calls to get a little inspiration and motivation with great information like this. And I look forward to seeing you. Oh, wait a minute. Won't be next week. Next week's Labor Day weekend and a holiday here in the U.S. And so I am going to be sailing with some dear friends on Lake Pepin. Now there's another thing to check out. Me and my friends that are sailing next week are also renting a houseboat and have a week-long transformational trek on the Mississippi River coming up September 18th through the 23rd. And I still have a couple spaces left available. If people are interested, please go register right away. And you'll get all kinds of amazing messages like this firsthand, and we'll dive deep in to you and find what's going on inside there and start to shift you into living the life that you want. And we're going to be floating around the Mississippi River. I mean, it's going to be awesome fall opportunity. Okay? So I'll probably send you a recorded message next week after I go sailing with some inspiration for next week. Enjoy the Labor Day weekend and enjoy this week. Take time for you. Take time for you to sit and think about what you really want, and then we'll work on that. Okay. Much love for a fabulous week.